House-to-house COVID-related visits? This used to be called a conspiracy theory. I want to welcome you back to another show of No Holds Barred. I'm your host, Maurice Hunt, aka Duke. And this is a platform where we get to talk about the things that we like to talk about. We get to express what we like to express. We get to think the way we like to think without someone else telling us how to do that. And with all of that said, and that's the way we give it to them, ladies and gentlemen. And with all that said, let's move forward with the show. Today, we have some devastating news to those who love life, to those who are considered patriot, or to those who love liberty. We're going to get right into this. WhiteHouse.com reported through the White House press secretary, Jen Psaki. And she's reporting on pretty much going door-to-door vaccines or door-to-door COVID-related response, if you will. Let's get into that. Jen Psaki, she went on to report as the Biden administration is seeking to move forward on these actions across America relating to COVID and vaccines. And I'm going to read directly from wh.gov. That's the whitehouse.gov. After the president is briefed by his COVID-19 response team this afternoon, he will speak to the American people about the strong progress that the country has made in recovery because of its robust vaccination campaign, as well as importance of every eligible American getting vaccinated, especially as the Delta variant continues to grow among unvaccinated people across the country. By the end of the week, the United States will be nearing 160 million people fully vaccinated, which the president will touch on today as well, which is critically important as fully vaccinated people are protected against the Delta variant. He will also stress how the administration will continue its effort to work with governors, local leaders, and across the public and private sector to get more Americans vaccinated by making vaccines available in more healthcare settings and response to hotspots. The president will outline 5 areas his team is focused on to get more Americans vaccinated. Here are the 5 areas. 1. Targeted community by community, door-to-door outreach to get remaining Americans vaccinated by ensuring they have the information they need on how both safe and accessible the vaccine is. So let's speak on that a little bit. It looks like they're planning to move forward by touching on communities, going through the neighborhoods, door to door, as it states right there on the whitehouse.gov, going door to door to either find out who's been vaccinated or I guess educate or encourage you to go ahead and get your vaccines. I'm wondering, how did we even get to this point? How did we even get to this level where they're become this bold and this straightforward? So this is going to be, I guess this is coming about because for all of those Americans who choose to get in line every single time there's a brand new vaccine on the table, they're not the problem. This is coming about for those who like to question the vaccine, whether it's safe, what it contains, what the ingredients are, genuine concerns about what it can do to their body. You know, are they at risk? These are legitimate concerns. So those individuals are not that quick to get in line to get the vaccines. So this, number one, to target community by community, door to door, this is going to be catered or targeted towards those individuals. And me personally, I don't see this as being a good thing at all. I don't see this as being a good thing. There has to be some type of pushback against this type of thing. One would question this as to even if it's constitutional or a little bit tyrannical or a little bit of communistic, if you will. 2, a renewed emphasis on getting the vaccines to more primary care doctors and physicians, something that we've seen as a very successful tactic, which reaching groups with lower vaccination rates in the past few months. 3, stepped up efforts, which is complementary to the last point, to get vaccines to pediatricians and other providers who serve younger people so that adolescents ages 12 through 18 can get vaccinated as they go for back to school checkups or get ready for fall sports. So here they're lining it up to where, I mean, if I had to personally forecast where this is going, I'm going to say that your backs are going to be up against a wall in a sense that, in other words, if you are not fully vaccinated yet, then you cannot go to school, children, or you cannot participate in certain recreational sports publicly. Now, that's not an unreasonable thought process or statement, because that is usually the follow-up. They put out a press briefing like this, and it's followed up by a mandate. So that's a normal thing, but not quite normal, because this is on another level of, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Let's go to 3. I want to read that again. So 3 says that they're stepping up the efforts, which complementary to the last point, to get vaccines to pediatricians and other providers who serve young people so that adolescents ages 12 through 18 can get vaccinated as they go back to school or checkups or getting ready for fall sports. Okay? That's a big roadblock right there. Let's go to 4. 4 continues to expand effort. They want to continue expanding efforts to make the vaccine accessible for workers. Access in the area where we've seen as a challenge, and one whereas we've worked towards addressing it. Let me read that again. Access in the area where they've seen challenges, and one whereas we've worked to address it. That's the way they talk. We've seen increasing rates, they say. So that includes setting up vaccines clinics at workplaces and PTO or time. leave that employees can take off to get vaccinated. So they're setting up PTO time or leave so that employees can get vaccinated, so they'll be able to break free from their workplace. So here is where you're going to see a lot of the workplaces, a lot of the workforces or businesses. They're going to be pushed a little bit more as far as, we're going to say, encouraging their employees to be vaccinated. I wonder how long that's going to take before it becomes to the point where they have to tell their employees flat out, you can't come to work unless you are vaccinated. That's just my question, where this could be going or leading. And finally, expanding on their mobile clinic efforts, meeting people where they are, and making sure that they're taking the vaccine to communities. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a mobilization. They're getting ready to mobilize. Never mind waiting on you to go to them to be vaccinated. They're getting ready to take it to you and your families. That is what they are saying, flat out. That's where we are today. I'm going to do another show, and I'm going to talk about vaccines a little bit more in depth. And for the satisfaction and happiness of this dinosaur platform here that like to yank videos, I'm going to make sure that everything is measured up. Everything is going to be precise, all the information accurate, and all the sources is going to be there. And that moment, that very moment, when they try to use their bully pulpit and yank my video down or try to silence my voice, I will go after you. I will be coming after you legally. That's what I will be doing. And that's what we're looking at today with big tech. They're already under fire. This should not be happening here in America. We should not be having our voices silenced when we want to voice our opinion on something. If we want to question something that we may or may not be sure of, if we want to express something that might bring awareness, but it doesn't fit the narrative of the opposition, we should not be silenced. This is unconstitutional, and it's time to take the fight back to them. So that's all I have today, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I like to report on for today. You can go to whitehouse.gov if you want to look at this for yourself. And in the meantime, I'm going to actually post the video up so you can view it yourself.
A couple of updates for you at the top here. After the president is briefed by his COVID-19 response team this afternoon, he will speak to the American people about the strong progress that the country has made in recovery because of its robust vaccination campaign, as well as the importance of every eligible American getting vaccinated, especially as the Delta variant continues to grow among unvaccinated people across the country. By the end of the week, the United States will be nearing 160 million people fully vaccinated, which the president will touch on today as well, which is critically important as fully vaccinated people are protected against the Delta variant. He will also stress how the administration will continue its effort to work with governors, local leaders, and across the public and private sector to get more Americans vaccinated by making vaccines available in more healthcare settings and respond to hotspots. The president will outline 5 areas his team is focused on to get more Americans vaccinated. 1, targeted community-by-community door-to-door outreach to get remaining Americans vaccinated by ensuring they have the information they need on how both safe and accessible the vaccine is. 2, a renewed emphasis on getting the vaccines to more primary care doctors and physicians, something that we've seen as a very successful tactic with reaching groups with lower vaccination rates in the past few months. 3, stepped up efforts, which is complementary to my last point, to get vaccines to pediatricians and other providers who serve younger people so that adolescents aged 12 to 18 can get vaccinated as they go for back-to-school checkups or get ready for fall sports. 4, continue expanding efforts to make the vaccine accessible for workers. Access is an area where we've seen as a challenge, and one where, as we've worked to address it, we've seen increasing rates. So that includes setting up vaccination clinics at workplaces and PTO or leave that employees can take off to get vaccinated. And finally, expanding our mobile clinic efforts, meeting people where they are, and making sure we're taking the vaccine to communities. Another COVID update this week, both Guatemala and Vietnam will be receiving COVID vaccine doses from the Biden-Harris administration. Guatemala will receive 1.5 million doses of Moderna, and Vietnam will receive 2 million doses of Moderna. Also today, as part of the President's forthcoming executive order on competition, stay tuned, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced it will engage in a series of rulemakings to increase competition in agricultural industries to boost farmers' and ranchers' earnings, fight back against abuses of power by giant agribusiness corporations, and give farmers the right to repair their own equipment how they like. The President's executive order will follow through on a campaign promise by directing USDA to issue new rules under the Packers and Stockyards Act, making it easier for farmers to bring and win claims, stopping chicken processors from exploiting and underpaying chicken farmers, and adopting anti-retaliation protections for farmers who speak out about bad practices. Second, the EO will direct the USDA to issue new rules defining when meat can bear product of the USA labels so that consumers have accurate, transparent labels that enable them to know where their food comes from and to choose to support American farmers and ranchers. Something I learned that I found a little outrageous, we'll see what you all think, is that under current labeling rules, most grass-fed beef labeled product of USA is actually raised and slaughtered abroad and then imported to the U.S. for processing. The President and the USDA believe it is unfair for domestic farmers and ranchers to have to compete with foreign companies that are misleading consumers. Third, the EO directs USDA to develop a plan to increase opportunities for farmers to access markets and receive a fair return, including supporting alternative food distribution systems like farmers markets and developing standards and labels so that consumers can choose to buy products that treat farmers and agricultural workers fairly. These are just a few examples of actions USDA will take under the new executive order, and the entire federal government's mission, which will be help move forward through this executive order to help increase opportunities for small and independent businesses, to boost their earnings, and to lower prices, increase options for consumers. I think I have one more item. Yes, a number of you had asked me on the last trip I was on if we could do a little more to preview trips farther in advance. So I'm going to try to do that today. As you all know, tomorrow the President will travel to Crystal Lake, Illinois, which is located in the district of Congresswoman Lauren Underwood. There he will visit McHenry County College, a community college that has a workforce development program and a child care center, programs which his Build Back Better agenda invests in, and the American Families Plan, we've talked quite a bit in here, has proposals in. As the President presses for the bipartisan infrastructure framework, he's also pressing ahead on a dual track for the full breadth and scope of the Build Back Better agenda, which includes his critical climate priorities and the American Families Plan. The President's Build Back Better agenda provides a once-in-a-generation investment in the foundations of middle-class prosperity, education, healthcare, and childcare, from making education more affordable and expanding key provisions like the child care tax credit to providing economic security through programs like paid leave to families. The President will continue advancing his entire economic agenda to build back better. Congresswoman Underwood, many of you may know, is a registered nurse, health policy expert, and committed advocate for expanding access to high-quality, affordable health care, which the Build Back Better agenda accomplishes by permanently lowering health insurance premiums for those who build coverage on their own, saving families an average of $50 per person per month. As a result, 9 million people would save hundreds of dollars per year on their premiums, and 4 million uninsured people would gain coverage. He'll also, of course, engage with elected officials on the ground. We'll have an update for you as the schedule is being finalized on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of No Holds Barred. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Like this video if you like what you just heard. Share this video. Let's get this message out. And let's keep it moving.